About 201 million years ago, our planet once again found itself on the brink of collapse. The Triassic extinction is mentioned less frequently than the Great Dying of the Permian period, yet it was no less fateful. If the Permian catastrophe was a crushing blow that nearly erased life from the face of the Earth, the Triassic extinction was the Great Clearing. It was the moment nature removed the old masters from the stage to open up a vacancy for those we now call the kings of the Mesozoic, the dinosaurs. The primary culprit was the breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea. The Earth's crust was literally bursting at the seams, forming the Central Atlantic Magmatic Province, CAMP. Instead of local volcanoes, giant rifts awoke, spewing rivers of lava and clouds of gas for hundreds of thousands of years. The atmosphere grew scorching hot, and the oceans became toxic. This wasn't a meteor strike, it was a slow and agonizing tearing of a continent in half that altered the climate forever. The scale of the tragedy was staggering. About 76% of all species vanished. However, the most significant factor was exactly who faded into oblivion. The dinosaurs' main competitors, the crurotarsans, giant land-dwelling crocodiles, and the last of the large therapsids, went extinct. Up until this point, dinosaurs had been merely modest supporting actors, hiding in the shadows of these 10-meter armored monsters that had dominated the land for millions of years. A logical question arises. How did small dinosaurs and the first furry proto-mammals manage to survive while the giant monsters perished? The answer lies in their mobility and physiology. Smaller sizes required less food, while the presence of feathers in dinosaurs and fur in mammals helped them endure sharp temperature fluctuations. While the old tanks of evolution remained stuck in the past, these swift and adaptable creatures simply weathered the storm to inherit a vacant world. So, let us take a look at how everything appeared after the old world collapsed. At the beginning of the Hatangian stage, approximately 200 million years ago, Earth resembled the set of an apocalyptic movie. Following global eruptions, the planet plunged into a true greenhouse catastrophe. It was a time of extreme transition. The old Triassic world had finally crumbled, and the early Jurassic met life with incredible heat and chaos. The planet literally transformed into a giant greenhouse, where survival became a daily feat of endurance. The atmosphere functioned like a literal oven. Carbon dioxide levels surged fourfold, trapping heat and scorching the surface. But the worst was happening in the oceans. Due to the excess of gases, seawater became so acidic that it resembled aggressive carbonated water. This acid literally dissolved the limestone shells of mollusks and coral frameworks, turning flourishing underwater gardens into slime-covered dead deserts. Added to the chemical composition was another disaster, oceanic anoxia. Due to high temperatures, the water stopped circulating and oxygen ceased reaching the depths. The ocean began to suffocate. Vast zones became uninhabitable, creating empty niches. This was a brutal process of natural selection. Only the most adaptable creatures survived, those capable of withstanding low oxygen levels and toxic environments, eventually leading to the emergence of new marine predators. On land, the situation was no better due to deadly rains. Volcanic gases, spewed into the sky for years, mixed with atmospheric moisture to turn into sulfuric acid. This acid rain scorched vegetation, destroyed forests, and poisoned freshwater bodies. Plants, the foundation of food chains, died en masse, forcing animals to find new ways to adapt in this altered, aggressive world. Despite the fact that the sky poured acid and the oceans were suffocating, life still found a way. In the midst of the global catastrophe, life on Earth shifted into maximum energy-saving mode. Equatorial zones turned into scorched deserts, where the sun obliterated everything in its path. Life literally went underground. Survival zones moved into deep burrows, which became the only sanctuary from the hellish heat and toxic air. In this world, the winner wasn't the strongest, but the one who knew how to hide best. Meet the protagonist of those times, Oligokyphus. Although he lived among dinosaurs, he did not belong to their lineage. He is our distant ancestor, a cynodont that looked like a bizarre cross between a weasel and a furry snake on short legs. Oligokyphus was covered in thick fur, which helped him maintain a stable body temperature when the environment became unpredictable. Why did this little guy survive when 10-meter monsters vanished? The answer is simple: miniaturization. A small body requires a minimal amount of calories. While giant predators were dying of hunger due to the collapse of food chains, Oligokyphus quietly scraped by on a diet of seeds, ferns, and roots. He was an unpretentious survivalist who only needed a handful of dry nuts to be content. The main secret to his success was complex underground systems. Burrows acted as a natural thermos. They stayed cool during the day and warm at night. Furthermore, the thick layer of soil provided reliable protection against the acid rains that corroded everything on the surface. Beneath the earth, these creatures created an entire parallel world, waiting for nature to calm down. Meanwhile, on the surface, new masters began to reign: Chilophysis. These early dinosaurs became the first systematic winners thanks to their design: light, hollow bones, and phenomenally rapid growth. They were like sports cars among trucks, fast, agile, and ready to take over the empty forests, becoming the symbol of a new era. While some hid in burrows, others decided that the best way to survive was to escape the dying land altogether. When the land resembled a scorched wasteland, survival depended on the ability to leave a danger zone in time. Dimorphodon became one of those who chose the sky. It was a bizarre-looking creature, with short wings, a long tail, and a massive head resembling the beak of a modern-day puffin. Despite its perceived clumsiness, it gained a strategic advantage: the ability to fly over barren deserts in search of oases. Flight became its ticket to life, allowing it to find food where land animals simply died of exhaustion. While winged reptiles circled in the sky, Morganucodon, our direct ancestor and one of the first true mammals, lurked in the undergrowth. This tiny, furry hunter, the size of a mouse, bet on stealth. While large reptiles depended on the sun's warmth, Morganucodon mastered the night. Its primary weapons were sharp hearing and night vision, which allowed it to hunt insects in the dark. It won the survival race not through strength, but through the ability to be invisible and active while everyone else slept. This period in Earth's history is referred to as the vacuum effect. When the global catastrophe wiped out the giant apex predators, ecosystems suddenly became empty. The disappearance of those at the top of the food chain opened incredible opportunities for those who had previously hidden in the shadows. These strange survivors, from big-headed pterosaurs to microscopic mammals, began to evolve rapidly, filling the vacant niches. It was this void that allowed small and unusual species to become the architects of the new world we know today. While the struggle for every breath of air raged on land, in the depths of the sea, life was learning to exist in what was literally an acidic soup. Following the Triassic extinction, the ocean resembled a vast bowl of acid. Due to carbon dioxide emissions, the water became so aggressive that it dissolved the limestone frameworks of corals. Coral reefs, those underwater cities, vanished, leaving behind a void. The ocean turned into a murky plankton soup where only the hardiest could survive. In this harsh world, the era of ironfish began, creatures whose bodies were built for extreme trials. The true hero of that time was Lepidotes. It was a nightfish, encased in thick, shiny scales that resembled enameled armor. This chainmail did more than just protect it from predators. It helped the fish withstand the chemically altered environment. Thanks to powerful teeth capable of crushing the toughest mollusk shells, Lepidotes became the true king of coastal waters, mastering resources that were inaccessible to others. While the old masters of the seas were losing ground, the Plesiosauria, early plesiosaurs, stepped onto the stage. Their superpower was mobility. Unlike the ichthyosaurs, who were hostages of the open deep ocean, plesiosaurs, with their long necks and maneuverable flippers, felt perfectly at home in the shallows. They could hunt in areas where the water was too murky or dangerous for others, claiming coastal stretches where food was plentiful and competition was scarce. This was a great evolutionary victory born of pain. The change in the water's chemical composition acted as a brutal filter. The weak disappeared, and those who adapted, like the armored fish and the flexible plesiosaurs, laid the foundation for a new ecosystem. These very species became the dominant forces in the ocean for the next 140 million years, transforming an acidic hell into a cradle for future marine giants. The Triassic extinction flipped the script, proving that brute force is no panacea. While 10-meter armored giants went extinct due to their sluggishness and massive appetites, the strategy of the weak claimed victory. Being small, flexible, and unpretentious turned out to be far more advantageous. The ability to hide in burrows, consume minimal calories, and rapidly adapt to a poisoned environment became a true golden ticket. This catastrophe cleared the path for the dinosaurs, allowing them to rule the planet for millions of years. But at the same time, it gave a chance to our tiny mammalian ancestors. It was thanks to this great clearing that a long and complex journey began, one that eventually led to the emergence of humans. This was Sasha Paleo. See you in the next eras.